프랑스에서 온 이 외국인은 단 1년만 한국에 머물 계획이었습니다. 아시아를 경험하고 돈을 모으는 가벼운 마음으로 한국을 찾았죠. 하지만 지금은 완전히 생각이 바뀌었습니다. 그는 한국의 평균 생활 수준은 미국보다 높아요. 게다가 한국은 너무 안전하고 물가도 비싸지 않아요. 이 아파트로 당장 이사 가고 싶어요. 라며 놀라움을 금치 못했습니다. 14년 동안 한국에서 살면서 수많은 경험을 했지만 이제는 한국에 완전히 정착하기로 마음먹었다고 합니다. 외국인의 눈에 비친 놀라운 한국, 지금 바로 영상으로 확인해보세요.
Another big thing is just the affordable cost of living here in Korea.
Average standard of living in Korea is higher than the average standard of living in the United States.
I think because Korea is so safe and not too expensive. Expensive, but not too expensive.
Yeah, I want to move into this apartment and I want to do it now. My plan for coming to Korea was to only be here for 1 year and then to go back to France. So even after living here for almost 14 years, the ups and the downs, I still decided to stay.
In this video, I want to explain to you why if you're wanting to leave America and looking for a new country to live in, Korea may be the place for you.
When I first moved to Korea, my plan was to only stay here for 1 year and then go back to France. So before I continue with this vlog, just let me show you this view. Oh, sorry. This area is where everyone comes to get this view of Namsan Tower. I was gonna go back to France after being in Korea for 1 year. I just wanted to come here and like play around, save some money, and just experience Asia because I'd never been in Asia before. I really didn't take being in Korea very serious. Now, it doesn't mean that I didn't take my job serious. It just means that I didn't think that I would be in Korea for a long period of time and actually make this place a home. I love this part of town. This is Itaewon in Seoul, and usually I don't come here anymore because this is like really, really big party area, and I don't party like that anymore. But like in the daytime, before the big crowds come, this place is actually really amazing. So many cool things to see, a lot of nice cafes, many tourists are here. It's just, yeah, this is funny enough, or funnily enough, this is one of the places that made me want to stay. Yo, guys, as you guys know, I've been looking for some new shoes for like the last 2 months. Finally found some.
So I just remember arriving in Korea. So in Korea, after I received my first salary, I was able to live under my means, but still save an incredible amount of money. It just, I don't know, something clicked in my head. It was like, Francois, you lived in France and you made a pretty good salary, but euros are very easy to spend, but very hard to get.
Then when I started traveling around the country, when I started traveling to like different cities, and at this time I was living in the countryside. So when I started traveling from the countryside to Seoul, I was like, why is it so cheap to travel halfway through the country? From the city where I lived to Seoul, it's halfway to the country, to the very like north of the country. In France, it would have cost me like 70 euros for a one-way ticket to go from Paris, which is at the top or the north, to my city, which is Châteauroux, which is in the center region of France. Here in Korea, it cost me, I think at the time, it was like 25,000 won. So I'm like starting to put things together. Francois, you're living in a situation where you can thrive, you can save money, and you can also plan for your future in a very safe and comfortable environment. So do you really want to go back to France? Even going back to France, it's going back to America. I had the same struggles when I was in America. I worked 3 jobs when I went to school. I worked 3 jobs and paid my way through school. Not all of it. I still had like student loans, some student loans, and like the Pell Grant and stuff. But I worked 3 jobs to pay off like all of my bills, all my medical bills, and to afford food, and to afford gas, and to afford rent in my apartment. And I was only having like $200 left at the end of the month. Barely money to save, barely money to even like go on dates or hang out with friends or even to buy things that I needed for my life. I remember when I started to hang out with people that I met at my orientation. So there were a bunch of other English teachers who came from America or various countries where English is the native language. We formed a really tight bond and we started hanging out a lot on the weekends. We were going to like bigger cities like Daejeon near my home, and then we started to go to Seoul like every other weekend. I think that is the time, that is the moment when I decided that I didn't want to leave Korea, because when I was hanging out with my friends, when we were going to Seoul or we were going to like larger cities, we were actually like spending a lot of money hanging out, partying, eating, staying at hotels and things like that for the entire weekend. And the funny thing about it is that we could do all of this 2 times, 3 times a month, and we would still have like so much money left over. It was incredibly cheap to party. I remember at that time taking a taxi, the starting fare was like 2,500 won in Seoul, something like that. So it was incredibly cheap to just go around the country, especially come to Seoul, party, hang out. And that's something that I wasn't used to in America. I wasn't used to being able to party like that, or being like so social, hanging out with people all the time and still have money at the end of the month to do everything that I needed to do. Actually, this is a story that I'm just remembering now. This like blew my mind, even to this day. My friend, she was hurt. I think she broke her leg or something happened. Anyway, she was in Seoul. I was in a city about 2 hours to the south, hanging out with some other friends. She messaged me. She said she was hurt. She was in the hospital. I was with another friend. And she asked me, Francois, please, is it possible for you to come to Seoul and pick me up and take me back to my city, because I really need help. I don't have anyone else. And I'm like, okay, I'll come, you know, being the wonderful friend that I am. If I'm your friend, you're very, very lucky. This is like so wonderful and incredible and amazing at the same time. I was able to jump on the train, go to Seoul, which is like 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes to the north of where I was, hop in a taxi with my friend, find my other friend at a hospital, pick her up, take her back to the train station, hop on the train again and take her home to her town, which was actually the same town where we were, which was about 2 hours and 15 minutes to the south of Seoul. And we did all of that in the same day. We did it all in the same day, and it cost us almost nothing to do it. And I was just like, what is this country? How is it possible for me to be able to go from halfway the middle of the country to the very top and back again in the same day and not even spend $50 doing it? It just blew my mind. The price of living here in Korea is just crazy low. I mean, of course, there's still a big gap between the rich and the poor. I think that exists in so many countries, but I always tell my friends in America this, it's that the average standard of living in Korea is higher than the average standard of living in the United States. I think maybe people on a daily basis are happier here because you can afford to do more things like go to random restaurants, go have ice cream randomly, take a day trip, or things like that, that it's not really possible to do in the United States.
What made you decide to stay for so many years?
It's a tough question, but originally it was because of my girlfriend, now wife, but I found a community in terms of basketball that I made many friends, both in Korea and the US now and multiple countries, that made me want to stay longer. And the fact that it's so convenient to live here, especially if you have a stable job and a house that is okay, it's very easy to live in.
I really love the convenience of Korean metros and the Korean buses. Like, I just got from one side of town, such low transportation costs and the quick ability to move around the city. The allure of moving to Korea is so strong. Another thing about living in Korea that it really makes me not want to leave. I can't imagine being in another country. It's the bali system here in Korea, the bali culture. Bali means fast or quick. And Korea has this bali culture where they do things extremely fast. Should I say fast and efficient? a lot of the times it's very fast and very efficient. Some don't have to wait for a lot of things to happen here in Korea, like especially if you need paperwork done. You can go to the town hall of your county. It's called the Jumin Center. And you just ask them for what you want. Usually they can pull up all of your files by looking at your foreigner ID card and typing in your number, and all of your files will come up, and then they'll give you what you want, and you can be out of the office like in no more than 5 or 10 minutes. And another thing that I can't do without is like the treatment that I get here. Like a lot of people will say, you're a Black American and maybe Koreans are racist, and I think I talked about this in another video, but I just went into the store to buy something to drink, and I was just very kind and polite to the attendant, and he gave me a free drink. So I was just walking out of the door, and he was like, here's a gift for you. And I'm just like, wow. And this happens to me so often, and it happens in other countries as well, but not more than it happens here in Korea. It's just like, how can I leave a country where I'm always treated well and I always feel good every time I go? But I wanted to talk more about the Bali culture, the quick culture here in Korea. I was moving out of my apartment in the countryside. 4 or 5 days left in the apartment where I was living. And this apartment was connected to the job that I had for public school. Now, I needed to find an apartment within those 5 days or else I would be homeless. So I wanted to go to Seoul. I asked a friend about a real estate agent located in Seoul. And me coming from America, I thought the apartment hunting process would take a lot longer than it did here, but just listen to this. I found the real estate agent in Seoul. I called them with my bad Korean. I scheduled an appointment. I took a bus from my town up to Seoul that same day, which was like almost 2.5 hour bus trip. I took a taxi to the real estate agent. I talked to the real estate agent, and they said, we can find an apartment for you today if you need it. Wait a second, you can find an apartment for me this very same day, and I can move in and I can pay all the bills and everything will be okay. There's like no red tape or anything. And they're like, yeah, you can move in today. And I was like, this is impossible. Like you can't even find this in France. And France was a little quicker in this aspect than the United States. So they took me apartment hunting. They showed me I think it was 4 apartments, and they were pretty good apartments, but I settled on one apartment that was fully furnished. It was very small because the space here in Seoul is so condensed. So you're gonna pay a premium for space in this city. So my apartment was really small, but it was modern, and there was a bed already there. There was a television, there was internet, there was cable, there was Wi-Fi, everything that you can think of. There was a refrigerator, there was a washing machine, oven, microwave, like all of this in the apartment. And the price was, I believe it was about $500 a month, even though it was a 1-room apartment. And the down payment was 2 million won, which means about 1,700 or 600 and something US anyways. So I was like, yeah, I want to move into this apartment and I want to do it now. But definitely there's no way that you're going to find a room on the same day in Atlanta, where I'm from, and pay all of the bills on the same day and move in on the same day. That can't happen. I stayed in Korea for such a long period of time. It's comfortable, it's safe. If you're considering a place to move to and to start a new life, or just travel, then I highly suggest Korea. You might be like me. You might come for a couple of months or for a year and end up staying for 15, 20 years. So yeah, Korea can do that to you. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching this video. Hope it wasn't too long. Hope you got some value from it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Make sure you stay hydrated. It's super hot out here. Love you guys. Take care. Peace.